Hello, I'm Jeff Hajek, and this is the latest episode of my ramblings of a continuous improvement coach. And in this episode, I want to talk about something that might be a little bit controversial or just at least a little non intuitive. And it is that policy deployment is not about setting goals. It's not the primary purpose. It's not why you want deployment in place. But most people think it is. Most people think policy deployment is a way to make your goals a reality. And there's some truth to policy deployment is used to make your company better, but I like to think more of like the goals are a vehicle to do that. So, what do I mean by this? Well, what you really want with policy deployment is you want to be able to use the goals to focus your efforts on the specific processes and systems that you need to create better or improve or create to make it possible to hit those goals. So, you'd be hard pressed to find a company that is really successful at hitting its goals that does not also focus a lot on developing the systems behind those goals. And now I don't want to get all into the details of policy deployment. I have a lot of courses on that, a lot of other information on that that you can check out, um, as part of the CI toolkit that we have at Continuous Improvement Central. So I encourage you to look into all that and and this will make a lot more sense if you have a really deep understanding of policy deployment, but it's not to say that if you don't understand policy deployment, you're going to be lost with this. So the core issue is that you can reach goals without the systems in place, but that's not a sustainable way to do things. So you can just throw manpower at a problem and hit a goal. If you have a sales goal and you hire a bunch more salespeople, you can hit your sales goal, but it's not going to be effective and it's not going to be sustainable if it's too costly to do that to hit that goal. And the same thing can happen about production. If you want to hit a certain production target, you can buy extra facilities and throw up extra production lines and really brute force it. But that's not going to solve the underlying issues that keep you from being really effective. And it's not something you can continue to do sustainably. You can't keep adding that kind of stuff and expect to keep becoming profitable every year just by throwing resources at a problem. So the way you really want to get better as a company is to create powerful processes, really strong processes, and create well established systems that let you focus on those. And that's what policy deployment does. It focuses your efforts on the right processes. So let me ask this question. And if this is kind of my litmus test of whether or not this whole theory holds water, and it's, do unsuccessful companies set goals? And the answer is they do. Almost every company out there is going to have a goal. If you even think about the NFL, like the sports teams, there's 32 professional football teams in the National Football League. Every one of those has a goal to win the Super Bowl. It might not be this year, but within a few years, they all want to win the Super Bowl. And only one does every year. They all set goals. So if setting goals was the end all be all of success, it's just not realistic that there wouldn't be a much bigger mix of teams winning the Super Bowl. We have a lot, several of the teams that won it many times, and there's, some dynasties that form up, and you got to question why just setting goals isn't enough. So policy deployment is the tool that makes the goals, it makes you back them with something real. So I like to think of it as policy deployment as kind of like a filter and a focus. So it filters out all the unnecessary things. So as you go through and say, these are our goals, you really hone in on the specific processes that will help you reach those goals. And it also means that when you have some kind of conflict where you have to get different resources or you have to hire somebody and there's different people who have different skills and you're trying to choose, anytime there's a conflict, you look at the processes that you're trying to establish and think which is a better fit to make those processes become true, become real, become effective. So if you're able to do that, you now have focus on the right things and you've eliminated the wrong things. So now you're going to be a lot better at hitting those goals. Yeah, that's about all I have on this episode of my ramblings of a continuous improvement coach. There's a lot more detail I have in different articles. Again, this is just me spouting off whatever's on top of my mind, and it's not all that organized. If you do want some more detailed, specific policy deployment or goal setting information, check out the catalog at Continuous Improvement Central, and there's a lot more there. So anyway, have a good day. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks.